Hi class, this video is to discuss your signature assignment, which is worth 20% of your grade in this class, and you begin this next week. And so you'll see now you have a new button here on the left-hand side called Signature Assignment. I will also put links into every weekly folder, so those can still be your one-stop shop, but you also know if you're just going for your signature assignment, you can come right here. The first thing I'm going to do is outline the entire project. It's actually broken into multiple steps. But let's discuss the purpose of the entire thing. So ultimately what you're going to do, your primary purpose is you're going to pick 2 or 3 nutrition recommendations. You can include exercise, you can include water, but only if you're following 3 recommendations. It is not good enough to say I don't drink enough water and so I'm going to add water to my diet. That is not enough of a signature assignment. So please make sure that you're picking 2 or 3 recommendations. These are what is appropriate for you. And so part of what you're getting this information from is looking at maybe your sugar diary, maybe the last 72-hour food diary that we did when you did the diet evaluation. You're trying to take a look at what we're doing in class and saying, well, how does this apply to my life? What could I possibly change? And so they will be personal. The big thing is that you are going to pick these recommendations. You're going to follow them for 1 consecutive week, 7 days. You will record everything you do in your NutriCalc program. And the main goal is you're just going to give this a shot for a week. It's going to take planning and preparation, which is why this is in multiple steps. Your very first step in this project is your introduction problem statement journal. So that's what you're doing next week. I really want you to be thoughtful. What I mean by problem statement is the purpose of you making changes, you're addressing an issue. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as a true problem, but it could be, we could look at too high meat, high red meat, in your diet. You can look at sugar, you can look at, not enough fruits and vegetables. There's a lot there to look at. So that's where your problem statement is. Your problem statement is a definitive statement that of why you're changing what needs to be changed. It can also be very personal and relate to your family, which is actually what most people relate it to. For example, if you look at me, everyone on my father's side of my family has died. They all died by the time they were 55 from type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, obesity, you name it. They ate their way to it and they're all dead. So there's a couple things I know about that. I know that that means that in my own life, I have to be more cognizant about what I do because my genetics are not stellar. So that might be my problem statement. My problem statement might be obesity and type 2 diabetes run in my family. My current diet might reflect the onset of those. So that's what you're looking at for a problem statement. Your recommendations are what is recommended to solve that problem. For example, if you're obese, then what would be the recommendation? Well, obviously, we are going to recommend that you probably have a more calorically restricted diet or raise your diet to more fruits and vegetables, right? And things like that. So what you're really doing is you're saying, okay, well, this is what I want to do to solve my problem. And what supporting references are available on that to solve your problem? So for example, are you going to find data on the Mediterranean diet or on a vegan diet? You will. You're going to find a lot of that data to reverse a lot of disease. Okay, so maybe that's where you pull your supporting references from. Okay, but you do want to have 3. So you have 2 supporting references for each recommendation that you are going to implement. This is not what you see on TV. So keep in mind, supporting references and peer review, I give you a little information about that, is really what does the science say? You are then going to write a paper diving into this a little bit more deeply. You're also in your paper going to discuss the references that you selected. You're going to highlight to the reader, being me, what these papers found. So you're going to tell me why these are good choices, and you say, what the researchers showed. This is approximately 25 points, and It is about 2 pages. Keep in mind that I give you page lengths. You can go over them. You're probably falling short if you go under them. I give them because students really love a reference. Okay. I do not like quotes. Don't use them, please. The next step is step 2, and that's your plan of action. And that's going to be a discussion board with your team. And you are going to put together a full and detailed plan of action. Because the reality is this, if you were capable of eating this way all the time, whatever the way is that you're choosing, then you probably would. You're probably going to need to really think about, well, when do I go grocery shopping? How much money do I have? How am I going to plan to cook food? If you eat a lot of processed foods, right, then you're going to have to figure out how you're going to take whole foods and eat them. Okay, so that's all going to take time, thought, and effort. If you actually want to be successful, you're going to have to be methodical on your plan. We don't just wake up one day and say, well, I'm just going to do this. Well, how? How are you just going to do this? If every Friday night you go out with your friends and you get pizza and beer, and it's one of your most favorite things to do, what are you going to do on that Friday night if you're choosing to be vegan for a week? You have to have a plan for that, right? And so what if your husband or your wife eats total junk food? What is your plan for that? And so that's why it's important that we're really thoughtful, and then that why we can also support each other, right? And give each other ideas on what our plan is. And then we're going to have a final paper, and basically you're going to summarize the 3 first steps, and then you're going to talk about your results and what you found in detail. You do have to submit your reports with this. Your summary, your results should also highlight the data that you found in NutriCalc that support what you were attempting to do. Okay, and so that is your entire shebang. Right now, what you are going to do is not this. Let's close that. Right now, what you are going to do is, this is all set here for you. Okay, so if you want to find the document I was just looking at, it's right here. If you want to understand how to do APA style citation, which is required, it's right here. If you want to understand what is a peer scholarly reviewed journal, it's right here. If this is not any websites. You need journal articles. All your steps can be found right here. And again, these are also in your weekly folder, but this is what you're doing first. When I say use the exact format provided, I do not want you to write me a paragraph. I want to see the words problem statement and you write it. I want to see the words recommendations. You write your first recommendation and you give me the supporting references. You write your second one and you give me the supporting references. Okay, so I really am trying to tell you exactly how I'd like to see it turned in. The other activity that I have for you, and it's a first part of this assignment, I would like you to start here. I would like you to start with the signature assignment and goal setting. And the reason why I have you do this is students really struggle with actually making really good SMART goals. I have a lot of times, you've been doing this a long time, right? And I'm going to eat healthier. Well, I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? Or I'm going to have more fruit. Well, me personally, I eat probably 2 or 3 pieces of fruit a day. So is more fruit 4 pieces? Or is more fruit 1 piece if you eat no fruit? See, and so I would have a hard time understanding your change. So this is going to really help you with that, understanding your change. Now, you'll see here, it says after entered this, ignore that completely. This is not about that. This is really about, I want you to really think about these behaviors and specifically making a plan. Specifically, how would you measure it? Really thinking about how it's achievable. The relevant is the problem statement, right? And then the time frame with which you do it. This is just to give you some practice, which is why I would start here before you do the journal. There's only 2 questions in here. You'll see this one and then you see this one. And this is actually a little bit more your problem statement in its totality. Okay. All right. Well, that is your signature assignment, and you can let me know if you have questions.